Hey Tia, I just wanted to make sure you could see us okay.
You look great.
Okay, awesome. Cool. I'm just waiting 1 second for Mike. We'll be right back.
Those of you that are just dialing in or jumping on our YouTube channel, we will get started in just a second. We've got Mike and Noel Leventovich hosting today. Welcome to the TWC.
Okay, so I am waiting for Mike. So we will just get started here in just a second. Thanks for hanging in there. So here it comes. Yay.
All right, here we go. Good stuff happening. All right, welcome out there. Oh, yeah, I'm not in a picture for. We got our. Let's stand it up here. Let's make sure we're good.
All right.
All right, guys, we're happy to be here, Mike and Noel, and we are out here. Beautiful day here in Louisville. Thought we'd share a little bit of our backyard. We've got a nice golf course. We're sitting here on the 16th green. You might see some golfers playing through. Hopefully, they won't knock us in the head with an errant drive coming down the fairway. But we're
They don't
excited to
come
be.
that close to our house. We're
Typically not.
yeah.
Typically not.
We're all right.
Typically not. Oh man, hey, we're excited. Um, my gosh, we've got a lot to cover today, from leaderboards to what's going on with this super pack. Do you have that? Where's that glossy go?
It's
You
right
got it right
here.
here. Oh, perfect. All right, we are excited. We're excited since the super pack came out. We're going to be hitting this hard. We're grateful to be here. We know that Andy's out there in Vegas today, meeting with several of the top agency managers around the West Coast area. Some people flown out there to be there, and we are very intentional about helping you grow and helping you do some big things as we get going this year. Um, Man, it's cool to know that we've got a partnership with both people like Andy, a partnership with his staff and the performance team, a partnership with our carriers doing neat things for us. And today, I think one of the things that we talk about partnerships with carriers, we'll start off with a couple leaderboards. We're going to weave them in, but we're going to get into our content pretty quick. But the first thing is we talk about contests and what's going on.
Which one are we talking about? Foresters? You want to bring up? I don't know if Tia, if you can bring up the Foresters contest.
We're going to hit the Foresters app count one. This is the June 1st to June 30th. So we're going to try to share the screen and make sure everybody is good here.
I do want to say this that Andy has put together all these different contests for all of us to earn and reach and strive our goals and hit the soup and max out the super pack like
The
we're
Max
going to
Pack.
talking about today. But these incentives are out there for all of us to get a part of and learn from. So, all
All
right.
right. Well, good. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go through this. We're just gonna hit up some of these. And again, this is more cash involved for these folks that we're drawing, and with what's happening with Foresters with this app count contest. People, I think you need to have, I think, a minimum of 5 apps in to be entered in there. And from there, the next big thing is who do we got that's kind of rocking this and showing up with both the right minimum premiums as well as.
Let's hit the new winners
Okay,
on this.
so all right, so the number 10 new winner, we got Jeff Wilhelm, and then we've got Gil Stolten Flores, part of John George and Penny Wilson's team. We got Megan Fran. You're seeing her name popping up as a number 8 new winner. Dan Gillingham with Fitz's team with a number 7 winner. Evan Patzer out of Columbus, Ohio, number 6 winner. And then we got Eric and Bobby Belair as a prior winner. Katrina Gustin as a new winner. Blake Christen, part of Junior Korea's team, as a new winner. And then of course Jeremico Edwards, Noel Wilson, prior winners. Jeff Turner as a new winner. Angela Manzo is a new winner, and Tad Peterson is a new winner.
That's crazy. So this goes June 1st through the 30th.
The 30th.
So anybody can still win.
That's right. You got a good shot at pulling this off. In fact, if you look at it here, there is 14 days left. Today is the 17th. Yes, so you got 13 days left. It's not too soon or not too late to jump in. It's not too soon to start. It's not too late to start and become a part of that. All right. Let's see.
Next.
All righty. Good.
Checking your phone.
I know. I'm looking at my phone. I got texts coming in and everything else. Okay. So let's kind of jump in. We'll hit some more leaderboards as we go, but I do want to jump kind of into our core topic today, where we're talking about this super PAC. And grab it from me.
Maybe Tia can put this up on the screen for us with Super PAC. Super Producer Appreciation Chart, brand new, came out. And one thing about what Andy's put together here, especially recently, but over the last 20 years that he's been working in this business, is he's always groundbreaking opportunity, for staggering possibilities, staggering opportunities for us to get out there and do. And what we're going to talk about a little bit today is also going to go back to what Andy talked about last week a little bit, right? Yeah. On the believers versus the doers. If you remember last week's TWC, Andy talked about there are believers versus doers. And again, when Andy was on the show last week, he said he's some of both. I think I'm some of both. I think we all are some of both, but it comes down to how do we get there? What do we need to do? And what are the steps that we need to take to begin with the end in mind, right?
Yeah. And here's, if you're a dreamer, you probably might be a dreamer, what we refer to a dreamer versus a doer. If you sit there and you say, oh man, I'm going to hit the super PAC, I'm going to hit 130%, I'm going to hit it, well, I'm going to be there in 2 months. Or it's like, if you're just like, man, I'm coming out of it, I can't wait, I'm going to get me a plane, I'm going to get me a Ferrari. I said, and that's awesome that you're thinking that way. The challenge is sometimes when you're so much in that realm of just dreaming, if you're not looking at the concrete steps of doing, it's going to mess you up. So there's nothing wrong. In fact, sometimes we sit there, we roll our eyes at some people when that's the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, oh man, yeah, that's right, I'm going to get me a plane. I said, yeah, and we're excited. We want you to get a plane. We believe we're going to get a plane at some point. But we also know that, hey, there's a lot of work involved in that process. And so some people are so busy thinking about the plane that they forgot to make their phone calls. They forgot to do a policy on themselves. So we're going to try to break this down for you. And the first thing is, I want to at least say, hey, picture for a second if you're at the 130 contract.
I do want to say this. There's nothing wrong in believing and doing all that, and dreaming about all those things. Like Andy said, he's always dreaming about what's next, what's greater, what's bigger. Same thing for us. So anything we say here, but then we've got to put the actions behind that. We got to get to the doing part to make those things reality and get those results that we're looking for. So.
Okay. Yeah. And I think that's there. So first of all, if you're saying, hey man, Mike, are you putting down dreams? No. You need to have a dream because that may fuel your action, but we're going to make sure we're very clear on the action today. So we want to be very, very clear on the action because, hey, as Cindy says, we're all about doing nothing, having fun, hanging out on the golf course. And, we're supposed to be in Alaska at this time, so sadly we're not. So we're definitely about doing a lot of cool things. But what I want to come back and start with is, okay, what's the value? So if we hit the super PAC, if we hit the 130 contract, what's that look like? Number one, it's you issuing $50,000 a month and you having 6 individuals that you've hired.
Can you put this up on the screen? Maybe
we're going to keep going back and forth.
But,
we're going to give you a workout.
We are.
Yeah. So that 130 level is you, whether as a couple or an individual, issuing 50,000 a month. That's the cornerstone of that. But then it's you having found 6 agents, whether they've been direct hires or it's someone that led to someone that led to somebody, but it's a single producer in each of 6 legs that's issuing 20,000 or more in a month. So now we took the time to kind of run the calculation on this, and just to give you an idea, if you're doing that, and we factored in for what's the the mix of product, what's the mix of products, but if you're doing that, first thing is it's about $44,000 a month of income coming in to you on your personal production.
Just the 50,000.
Just on your income on doing 50,000 a 130 contract, and like we put in all the product factors and focus on that, about 44,000 a month. Now, let's say you've got those 6 legs where one agent is doing 20,000 or more, and let's say they're at an 85% commission level, and so you've got a spread that's there. And with that said, with that spread and what's going on, that's going to put you at about $7,500 a month of override per leg. Times 6 legs, it's putting you right around $46,000 a month in override income. So you got the 46 plus the 44, that puts you at $90,000 a month in income. Folks, you do the math on that, that's just under $1.1 million a year.
That's crazy. I love it.
And notice, we haven't talked about a Coliseum full of people.
Right.
We've talked about a Sienna minivan full of people. You and 6 others creating $1 million a year income. Think about that for a second. Now, somebody could challenge my math and say, well, did you account for chargebacks? And I said, here's what I kept it real simple. I figured, yeah, there's going to be some chargebacks, but I also know we're focused on minimums. I'm thinking if one person did 20,000 or more per month. And by the way, these are the 6 agents doing that. By the time you found those 6 agents, you probably found a few more or several more that are doing a little bit that are on their way up to that.
And by the way, those people are also finding people.
Yeah,
we figure if you can hit 50,000 in issued premium, you can probably teach a couple people to do that too and create a massive over $1 million income doing that.
And we've not counted for renewals that you'll have built up on the way. So when we run the math now, we talk about doing 1.1 million in income based on that model. I promise you, we're being extremely conservative because of all the things we haven't factored in between renewals and other agents and everything else. So the first thing is to give you a glimpse of why focus. Why should we care about the 130? Why should we fight for it? Oh, I promise you, it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. We've not talked. Just think about that for a second. Now, what could you do with that? What would that mean for you? Okay, now we're going to take some time. We're going to break this down, and we're going to kind of give you a roadmap, because you could say, I'm going to go there. Okay, great. What do I do now? Well, there's probably going to be a progression. And so we mapped out a few waypoints along the way. So what's the next step before? Like, this is what Jeff Bright calls, reverse engineering. Or I can remember in my engineering days, I worked in the auto industry. I can remember being in an auto plant, as a Toyota plant, and I can remember they had actually at the time a Honda Accord completely dismantled on their floor, and they had like a Ford Taurus, I think.
All these war stories from Mike's past.
I know. But what they did was they were like, what can we steal from our competitors, and reverse engineering how they put these cars together. Let's take them all apart. And so you figure they invested in literally buying a competitor's car and taking it apart piece by piece and letting it strewn all over the floor of their plant in these areas, and where they're looking for ideas. Oh, I wonder how they made that go together. Okay, so we're not taking apart a whole car here, but we're going to take it apart in kind of 4 chunks.
We're going to take apart the super pack and chunk it down and reverse engineer. We're going to reverse engineer the super pack.
That's right. And show you how to max it out and how you can do it quickly and definitively. So what's the next, what would be my next level down from the super pack I might be focusing on? Oh, Tia, you're good. You've already pulled it up. And I'd be looking in the middle at that 115-point contract. And at that 115-point contract where it shows you doing 30,000 as a personal producer and having 3 legs with agents that are doing 20,000 a month. We're going to call that kind of our next tier down. We'll kind of come back to what's it look like to get there.
It's chunked down, just so you know. We're not going to cover every step in here, right?
Right.
But if you can do one, you can move to the next one and so forth. So that's why we're kind of doing four different separate chunks. So to
Okay.
speak.
The level before that is going to be looking at a silver producer. As a silver producer, you're issuing 25,000 a month just by yourself, kind of toward the lower part of that. And then certainly before you're issuing 25,000 a month, you've just got licensed.
You gotta get started.
You got to get started, you know? So you're kind of like just sitting there on our chart and you've not yet to write your first policy. So those are the four levels that we're going to kind of focus on and talk about, from getting started to 25,000 issue paid a month to 30,000 issue paid in 3 direct legs, and bringing in that 115 point contract, to then step it up to max out the super pack with 50,000 a month and 6 direct legs doing 20,000 each. So those are the different levels we're going to talk about today. And so as we kind of look into this, and beginning with the end in mind, we're going to jump right into
We're going to be talking about putting the do into behind the belief part of this. So believing that you can do it, believing that you can get your license, believing that you can get to the 130 contract. It starts with the belief, but we got to put the do behind that. And that's what we're going to do today. All right?
So, and I think one even step is it's not so much on that chart, but the step before doing 25,000 a month that we'll get to is moving from doing 0 to 10,000 a month. Because some people, it's hey, they can't believe, or you might not be able to believe that you can do 25,000. You see, we got a ton of people doing it, but you may not believe yet. So how about we focus on going from 0 to 10,000 a month? And that's something anybody can do, whether you're full-time or part-time. 10,000 a month is doable. How do I know? Because 20 years ago, when Noelle and I got started, we were able to do each 10,000 a month while having a full-time job. So I know that that's possible, and we've got other people doing that. So I think, understanding the belief in what can be done, and then we're going to break it down and show you how. Okay, so let's jump into that. So if you're getting started and you're here brand new, or you're thinking, Mike, I'm not brand new anymore. Okay, let's think about you taking notes as coaching somebody that's brand new, and what are the steps that you need to help this new person so you can be the coach to get them from 0 to 10,000. So let's start there. What are some big things that we got to be doing there, Noelle?
Some of the big steps is getting your license and getting contracted, getting that done fast. When I first got my license, I did mine over the course of a weekend. I got licensed as soon as the next day my license was active. I was helping 3 families. So not waiting around to get through it. If you're on this line and you don't have your license yet, go out there and get it done, and get it done fast. Okay. It doesn't have to take a long time to make that happen. And then the contracting part, please just get through that quick. I mean, that doesn't take a long time to do it, right?
Yeah, no doubt. It doesn't take long. Some people that make contracting take a week. It takes you about 20 or 30 minutes. Maybe if you get stuck, that's fine. And get your AML done, that's another 10 or 15 minutes. And you should be, like I said, you should be thinking about this, not just from the fact that you've already done it, but are you teaching somebody else to manage expectations? And as we were sitting there writing down, to go from 0 to 10,000 a month, there are a lot of little basic things. So if you're making notes, you might be thinking of checklists of things that you need to be teaching the new agent, or if you're brand new, these are checklists of things that you probably want to make sure you're paying attention to and getting done early on. Now, there's going to be a lot of things. Some people are going to say, well, I have to do everything that Mike and Noelle said. No, you don't have to do everything before you start moving. These are things that you're going to be doing as you start moving. So
no, you don't have to do everything before you start moving. Please don't do that.
Yeah.
Just go out there, and it's okay to make mistakes and whatever. Okay. The point is through these things that must be done, like getting your license, let's do it fast. Let's do it now, like Andy said, now and right now. And then the contracting is easy enough to get completed. But the next one, I think, is the personal use and reviewing your own personal policy. What do you have in place? What should you have in place? And why that's important, which is it's the first step in the 8 Steps to Success book, owning what you sell, believing in what you sell.
And some people come in, I think there's a couple ways that we have this conversation, some things to pay attention to. Some people are like, do I have to get a policy myself? I guess I technically don't care if you do.
We don't care. I mean,
technically don't care. But if sometimes you're talking to someone and they're stuck on, should I do this or not? Here's the way I approach it. I just thought to myself, look, first thing we should do is review your own coverage. And if you have coverage, let's review it because you need to learn how what you have stacks up to what we have. And you'd be shocked at how many times a brand new agent, the coverage they have is an accidental policy, or they've got group term at their job that they're paying for and they think it's a great idea. And nobody's explained to them that that's a frog boiling policy. And I don't have time to get into telling the frog
boiling policy.
Yeah, that's how you boil a frog, group policy. But
slow.
Yep, turn up the pricing slow. They don't know some of these stories that you got to know. So just in the review of a policy of their own, it's amazing what people learn that they didn't know when they've just gotten licensed. So if you're the agent that's teaching somebody this, having the patience to say, well, let's review what you got. Let's learn from this. Let's learn about the competition.
And maybe they don't need something. Who knows? The point is to look at what they have, learn from the process. But if you own what you have to offer, there's huge benefits to that too. The credibility that you have with your clients, the credibility you have with yourself. You're more comfortable and confident, like Mike was saying, because you know you're learning the products because you're comparing versus what you have. So you're learning that. It's an easy way to learn the products, by the way, and a fast way to learn the products is comparing what you have versus that. If you don't have something, then learning the first few products and then picking the one that fits for you, right? And then you learn faster. Like I said, you have more belief in the products, yourself, and the system when you go through that process. It's huge. And then the integrity that you have for yourself, knowing and believing in what you have to offer, so that you can have that integrity to say, yeah, the moral authority to say, yeah, this is what I have, because your clients will ask you what you do have, and then the commitment in what you're doing. If this is what we're doing, let's go ahead and be committed to making it happen and doing those steps, those easy, small steps like this, right?
Yeah.
And it also builds trust with the client, too.
Yeah. Some people are like, I want to fly on that jet. So, did you get a policy on yourself yet? Well, no. Well, how the hell are you going to do that? It's like, I
promise you, Andy Albright has a ton of policies for him and his family.
I'll get one when I get there. I said, you can start with a modest policy and go through the process. You're going to learn about the EI process. All right, here's the next big thing in getting started. We're big on having somebody do a few warm market appointments. One, we did warm market appointments before we ever took leads because we didn't want to make a fool of ourselves in front of the leads. We're like, we're going to start investing in leads or working with leads. We kind of want to go make a mess in front of some people we know, and we didn't care if the friends we sat with bought. We just like, hey, y'all, we need to practice what we're doing. Our company's going to be giving us leads to work with, but we kind of need to practice our process and asking questions and talking about life insurance. Would you let us come over and do that?
My first 3 policies were policies off the warm market.
And we didn't go in trying to sell our friends a policy. We get in and say, hey, y'all, we need to practice what we're doing. Y'all okay if we do this? And I think in keeping that approach, whether you're teaching somebody, hey, let's go in, let's make a mess, and let's just not worry about trying to sell. So I don't want to sell my friends. I don't want you to sell your friends either. I want you to follow our process and first find out what they have, and let's practice learning and reviewing and seeing what they need, as opposed to just trying to slam a policy down someone's throat. Because that's what we're all about, is helping find a problem, size up the problem, see what somebody's going to qualify for, and lay out a solution. So wouldn't it be okay if we treat your friends as well as we're going to treat our leads?
If somebody doesn't want to do that, don't do that. I don't care. I mean, honestly, anything Mike and I say today is things that we've done and will do, but we're not going to hold somebody back if they don't want to do that, though.
And sometimes somebody comes in like, Mike, I have no warm market because I've been doing this for 37 years. And that's fine. We're not looking to hold somebody back. We're not looking to delay somebody. We're not trying to cause a fight over stuff. We're pretty easygoing. But if somebody's saying, what do I do to get there fast? This is part of what I teach, is how to get there fast. And most of the agents that are doing this for the first time, like, oh my gosh, they come out with learning and they're like, I can't believe I learned that much. So those are a few basic things to get up to speed. Now, as somebody's, they're now working with leads, we try to make sure they're learning to work with all types of leads. Follow-up leads like RWs and A3s, both mortgage protection and final expense. Getting them a blend, getting them in the process, getting as many reps in as we can, just getting them to roll around in the mud with the picks, just getting dirty.
Roll around in the mud with the
Get,
pigs.
I mean, just like get in there and make a mess and not worry about how you look.
Right.
Just worry about getting in there and how much can we experience, and don't worry about the perfection, because the perfection will come through repetition.
Exactly.
And so learning to book appointments.
The other thing you just said real quick, repetition will come through, or excuse me,
perfection.
Perfection will come through repetition. Your confidence will come through repetition. You're moving up this ladder faster, or this super pack faster, will come from repeating, but repeating quickly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That goes with the dialing too.
It's both dialing and learning door knocks. I think getting someone to get out there and do some door knocks in their first couple of weeks and learn how to book appointments through a door knock is critical. Otherwise, it can be this thing that just keep putting off, because then they sit still and they start to get scared. And they imagine that door knocking. Some people can imagine this crazy thing. It's like, go out there, do it. People are nicer.
We had somebody talk to us the other day about the leads. The leads were the problem, right?
Right. Okay. And somebody said this person, he or she doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which state.
Love this person.
Love this person. But in a conversation, they called lead performance team, or they called me and they said, I need these GMR leads. I need to cancel them. They're not working. Blah blah blah. I'm like, really? Well, what are they saying? And they're saying the same stuff. This person's working the follow-up leads. They love the follow-up leads, but they're like, oh, I'm having trouble. They're telling me this, and this. I'm like, really? I said, number one, you should be sharing these objections with us if you're getting them, so we can coach you through. But hey, if you're getting this objection, why don't you just drive by their house and knock on their door? So they took all the leads that they hadn't been able to reach, and lo and behold, they started booking more appointments and wrote more apps and had a record week in terms of the number of apps written last week, just because they started to do door knocks. And so it's, as a new person, are you willing to embrace that? Or as a coach, are you willing to suggest and lead the person out of their comfort zone to get that started and help them out with that? So appointment setting through dials and through door knocks. And I think quick comment here is we've been in an environment because of the COVID. We've been some cases, people are very tied up and locked in, but as we've seen more things open up, we're seeing more and more agents are going back to 100% face-to-face appointment setting, or 90%. If you're an agent and you came on board, you thought, man, I started getting my license when they were talking about telesales, and I'd like to do that. Here's my suggestion. Learn the business by face-to-face. It's easier. You'll succeed faster, and you'll get better. And then as you develop your skills and you want to start dabbling, or you need to do a telesale, great. There's so many ways you can screw up a deal. You've got way more control and way more ability to recover from that mistake if you're face-to-face. So I'm encouraging people to continue to buy into that. And speaking of face-to-face, even going back when you first do your first practice appointments, being able to call from the home, like that's a skill. Like when do you call from the home? Well, once I figured out what they need and what their health situation is, or have an idea of what they have. Maybe I don't know what they need, but I know what they have and what they're talking about. I know their health. That's when we get you calling from the home to talk to a veteran agent. And if we get you doing that early, both with your warm market appointments, you're working with leads, it'll make you a better agent in terms of writing deals. It'll make you a better field underwriter, and you'll get paid faster. You know, in fact, we sometimes talk about what are the 4 basics in the home. You want to cover those?
4 basics. Pick up a check, or pick up the phone.
Yep.
Hire across the table, green sheet, get you a green sheet for the annuities or other money, and then referrals, ERS, or any type of referral that you might be able to get from the home.
Those 4 things are critical.
Talking to the client right across from you, or even if you're doing a telesales, you can do those things too.
Okay? Who do you know can help us out?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, we're covered up. We just COVID. Demand for life insurance is crazy. We're running behind. We're running behind getting to you. Who do you know might be able to help us? Who do you know has been displaced from a job that might be looking? Who do you know that came out of a sales job that don't have it no more? Who do you know has got good customer service and sales skills that's maybe been displaced, that would like to get some more work done? And just asking that question. But those 4 basics in the home are key. Taking the time to not just ask, but then, getting into the ERS referral system. There's tools out there, and I think if you can start that on your way from 0 to 10,000 a month, it'll make you a better agent if you get some of these basics down early.
Yeah, huge, because that'll just speed up the momentum process of moving forward with the ERSs, and then going back to your clients. Did
Yeah.
you say that on here?
We didn't. We didn't talk about going back to your clients. I'm going to come back to that in a little bit. You talk about getting the green sheet. Hey, by the time you're getting 10,000 a month, I'm hoping you've been filling out green sheets. I'm hoping you've been learning to bam your clients when you find money and get them on the phone or on Zoom with Chris Norris or your upline who you know is good at annuities. Are you talking to them and figure out what to do? I love it when agents in their first 2 weeks have had an appointment with Chris Norris. Hey, it fires me up because they're like, wow, Chris is really good and our clients do have money, and we get people started early believing in the power of the annuity side of our business. It is crazy, unbelievably good.
Yeah.
Um,
We've had a number of agents that their first apps have been annuities.
yes, absolutely.
Some of that's from talking to the warm market too, though.
Yeah, yeah.
It all spirals.
So now, and it's funny, we still got more here in this level of just getting to from 0 to 10,000. But are you learning how to check pending, or do you know who the staff person is on your team that can help you look at your pending?
I will say this: check your pending on non-income producing hours. You can do that early in the morning or late at night. You do not have to do that while you should be making 300, 400 dials, 500 dials to schedule your appointments that you you need to do this. By the way, how many appointments do you think to hit 10,000?
I'm thinking you should be able to hit 10,000 a month. And you may not be as efficient at first, but I'm thinking 10 to 15 appointments a week should be booking 10 to 15 appointments a week, even if you're inefficient, will get you to 10,000 plus if you pay.
Maybe even 20. It's part-time.
He's part-time. You can still be, yeah. So if you're just trying to, what I call bludgeon your way there, it's a gut. I think getting to 10,000 a month is a gut check. It's just, I could tell you a minimum number. Heck, you could go out and maybe you book 20 appointments. Maybe you'll write 10,000 in your first week, but then you'll probably make a bunch of mistakes. Not all of it's going to get issued. But if you're trying to do, as you learn the system, I mean, really, it should only take you 10 to 12, 15 appointments to be getting to that 10,000 a month consistently. But it doesn't hurt to have a better appointment setting habit and getting more.
Well, to be willing to do the 250, 300, 400 dials, whatever
count.
It takes
Yep.
to make that happen off of whatever leads you're using,
Oh, speaking of leads, here's another big thing. On your way to 10,000 a month, have you established a GMR in your local area? Have you got that set up? And we're not going to, can't break down every little thing here, but GMR, talk to the lead performance team, get a steady flow of A leads coming in as soon as you can that you're taking ownership of, even if it's 1 or 2 or 3 A leads a week, and then learn how to ramp that up as your commissions are ramping up. That would be another big tool. As you see your commissions come in, even beforehand, make sure you know how commissions work. If you write a product like the AIG guaranteed issue, remember it's a lower commission level for the guaranteed issue. Remember that there's a 6-month advance, not a 7-month or 9-month advance. And so it's going to be lower, but don't be shocked. Look at the grid. Learn how to calculate commissions. The last thing you or an agent on your team should be doing is crying about their commissions because they misunderstood or it's lower. They should be looking at it, but we should be teaching them how to look at it as they start writing business. Hey, let's make sure you understand, here's what your commission is going to look like. Because the ARC, what I'm finding, has been 100% accurate. It's the agent's understanding of what's going into each number is what can mess some people up. So we got to make sure that we're taking time as leaders to explain things, and that as you're on your way, because you're a leader fighting for that top level of super PAC, this is a foundational piece you want to be doing.
Huge. One other thing on here, if you don't already have another part that you can do, if you don't have your health license already, if you're not life and health licensed, we have a ton of health products that we can write to. Yep. Then during this time, non-income producing times, study for your health exam so that you can take your health exam and pass that too. That's part of this. Get that health
exam. So if you did a life only just to get it fast, well, in this path from 0 to 10,000, get the health license done. Another thing is, again, if you've got your eye on the prize of getting to that 130 level, you need to be thinking about hiring some people. Hopefully you've done an MC backup, or you've been thinking about who else do I know in my warm market that could be good at this? Who else do I know that could help us out? Who do I know that's been successful? Use the MC backup tool, talk to your upline, talk to someone that knows how to hire people and get them started right. Get that process going. Don't wait until I'm going to wait till I'm making 25, doing 25,000 a month. So you can. We're not mad at you, but just like, but again,
it doesn't make sense to it doesn't make sense to wait to me, because if you believe that you can get that point, if you're a believer, the doing part of this is, look, if you can do it, somebody else can do it, and probably better than us. I mean, we're always looking for somebody that's better than us, you know. So that's a huge part of it. But building and working towards building your, you know, $20,000 producers, well, you got to be thinking about, who do I know, who can I meet, who did I meet recently that could potentially do this, you know, and be part of the, you know, the Alliance Aidens, the Doers, that mentality that we're looking for. Yeah. What, are you going to hit on another leaderboard?
I am. I said, in fact, Tia, we're going to talk about the Thailand leaderboard, because that's another thing is you're getting to your first 10,000 month. Here's some crazy stuff to be thinking about is, hey, you start popping 10,000 a month, you got to be thinking, man, Thailand is in my realm of possibility. It should be on my target. And so the first thing is like, if you understand the bonus point structure for the Thailand and how there's 60,000 bonus points to get to Thailand, you only need to get to Thailand about 65,000 more points, because you need 125,000 points total, because you get that 10,000 for your first app on yourself, and then 10,000 for each promotion that you're earning through the 60, 65, 70, 75, 80 point contract levels. So that's all pretty cool and powerful to understand. Now, with that said,
I will say this, Evan Patzer, congratulations! You earned a trip to Phuket, Thailand.
That's right.
Fired up for you.
128,000 points year to date for Evan. He's one of the new ones added to the list. And we've got a bunch of people.
You can see tracking. The list. Tia's got the list of all these people that have already earned it, people that are getting close to earning it. I see Carrie and Mike Williams down there, Terry and Tia Edwards, and so forth. So that's the mark. Earning your trip to an all expense paid for trip for two to Phuket, Thailand, man.
And it looks like we've got 79 people that are on track or have qualified. So there's 22 people that have qualified, and spots 23 through 79 are on track to qualify. And here's what I'll tell you, guys, as we're moving and we see things, you know, people rocking and rolling, we should be having 100, 150 people on track for this trip. This is going to be an amazing trip. And if you just understand what's there, I mean, the fact that we've got 22 people that have already qualified, and of those, 2 have already qualified for the extension trip, with Megan Wood at 253 points and Paul and Sam Menachino at 227,000 points. Again, these people have double qualified in 5.5 months. You have the ability to definitely qualify in 6 months, especially if you understand the bonus points and what they're there. It's just a matter of getting habits in. So we want you to be aware of that. And then as you start to realize, hey, man, Thailand, oh, by the way, Paul and Tamara Roberts have qualified on the agency manager side, I heard. I think I got a text on that. So that's cool also. So, yay, Paul and Tamara.
Paul and Tamara Roberts.
All right.
Fired up.
Another big thing, talk about contests, is you start putting up premium, knowing these leaderboards. The next one is the Rolex Contest. So, Tia, I'm going to make you find the Rolex Contest for us. And this is a year-to-date contest, or a year-long contest. But anybody can jump in at any time. And so right now, there are 13 Rolexes, and number one spot gets to choose. One definitely has more value than the others. But here in this running, we've got, in fact, just to call out some of the people that are kind of close, because number 13, Joseph Dukes, is in there at 143,500. Minerva Profil at 143,100. Jonathan Megan Yakey at 140. Eric and Bobby Belair at 139. Jeremy Patton 139. Mike and Michelle Allen at 138. Evan Patzer 137. Joe and Tony Walker 137. Evan Patzer at 128. Grant Ashley be at 127. So it's, I mean, there's like anybody could jump up.
Anybody could jump up at once.
Anybody could jump up. And so Joseph Dukes is in there in 13th place. Junior Korea at 12th. Tim Seidfit at 11th with 147. Robert Wilson, my man, at 151,000. Adam Johnson, 161,000. Marcus Richardson, 166,000. Kyle and Janina Wilson, hey, newcomers stepping up at 178. Mark Hutchison at 185. James and Jane Hill at 186. Brant and Jel Swindell at 195. Katrina Gus at 206. Paul and Sam Menachino at 227. and Megan Wood at 254,000 points. Again, anybody's game.
It's anybody's game, really, but you kind of want to be number one anyway. Because from what I hear, there's one Rolex in there that is twice as much, I guess, as the others. So there's a huge amount of money and prizes that Andy's put together here. So I'm fired up for those people.
Yeah,
but anybody can jump in.
All right. So we just got done telling you how do we get from 0 to 10,000 a month on our way to getting to this 130-point contract. Now we're showing you, hey, how do we move from 10,000 a month to 25,000 a month, and what's that look like? So I think here's one of the first things that we start to think about is number one, appointment count. I think moving from 10,000 a month to 25,000 a month means you definitely moving your appointment count up to 25 appointments a week. You might even be thinking about 30. Maybe you're hearing people doing 40. Maybe you're stretching to 40, but I know that, it's going to take, really you can do it on 25 appointments a week. Maybe if your skills are bad, maybe you'll need 30, but understanding, getting moving and stretching yourself, because once you've stretched to one position, now you kind of got a little comfortable, and now I can make the stretch to the next level.
Yeah, just don't stay in that comfort zone, please. That'll kill you, or the complacent zone.
Yeah, you're looking to get to the comfort zone, recognize you're there, and then quickly stretch.
Move on.
You're not meant to camp out there in your comfort zone.
No, camping out.
So appointment count is one big thing. And people say, well, how can I do 25 appointments a week? Well, I promise you that's 2.5 to 3 days in the field. Like you could do 3 days of 8 appointments a day and have an extra appointment thrown in there. You could do 10 appointments a day for 2.5 days is really what a 25 appointment a week looks like. Maybe you're like, oh, I'm really so okay. For you, maybe it's doing 6 appointments 4 days in a week. But I'm telling you, it can be done in 2.5 or 3 days a week and knocking out 25,000 a month of issue pay. Learning that. So now, okay, how do I get there? What do I got to do to be getting 25 appointments a week done? What are some of the big things you'd point out on that level?
Well, you got to make sure you've got the resources, the leads, the ERS, like we talked about. You've already started learning those skills on how to get the ERS referrals, how to work. We haven't talked yet, have we? We need to do that now. About talking about your clients that you're working with and going back and getting secondary sales with the clients that you currently have, stepping up your lead investment.
Yep.
You got to have the resources, the people to talk to get to the appointments that you need to make it happen.
Yeah, and that's big. And I think as you start to understand the wealth of products that we have, I've got about 3 agents I could talk about that I know that understand this and have really started to master the other products in working with their current clients. Here's a couple of those people. One is Marcus Richardson. Was just spending some time chatting with him on Sunday night, and he was talking a little bit about this. Another is Jason and Tawny Carey. I saw Jason. I was looking at a leaderboard. I think in the last 4 weeks they've issued 50,000 in premium personally, and most of that's through their current clients and just being focused and knowing the other products. And then number one in sales year to date is Megan Wood. And some people say, well, how does she do it? Well, her GMR is for 7A leads a week. How many multis? None, because nobody else is taking leads in her county because nobody else wants to go behind her.
People don't believe that when we say her GMR, by the way, when she started was 0.
Was 0. And then she made a stretch. She went to 1A lead a week because we forced her. We said, girl, you have to start now. But she did it kicking and screaming. But now she understands it. Now she'll occasionally get another batch to augment, but her GMR is 7A leads a week and maybe once or twice a month. She says, Mike, hey, I need some extras. I'm going to go get an order of Facebook leads from Bang Bang social media. Either way, she's doing other things, but guess what? She's running at a high volume level because she's mastered the other products in thinking while she's with a client, what's the next need that they have, and how am I going to set up that next appointment, whether it's on the delivery or after the delivery. She's not thinking about making a sale 1 or 2 years from now on the annual review. She's thinking about the next need that I'm going to make in the next 1 to 2 weeks with this client. And so, Tia, if you could, I'd
Actually,
send
the next phone call is she
the next phone call, right? Whether it's the delivery phone call or a follow up within a couple of days if it's more urgent.
Yeah.
Tia, I'd shot you an email with a PDF file that kind of just shows a little bit how I think Megan thinks about our business. I'd emailed that to you. Let me know if you've got that. There we go. Oh, beautiful. Okay,
that's a beautiful drawing.
That's right.
There.
That's my high tech
drawing.
Product drawing. Okay, so and if you're looking at this, here's what I need you to understand. The center, the hub of our business is what we do with life insurance, be it mortgage protection or final expense. That's the start of everything. If we don't have that start, that's what all our marketing is geared toward. But people are like, do y'all have annuity leads? Yes, it's our life insurance leads for mortgage protection and final expense. People say, do you have Medicare Advantage leads? Yes. It's our final expense life insurance leads. People say, do y'all have leads for your HMA? Yes. It's the life insurance mortgage protection. So the life insurance mortgage protection final expense, that is our lead for everything. That's the alpha. That's where it all starts. And doing a good job at that. And really, you should have been working on that in that first phase. But now that you've gotten good at that, you have a responsibility to learn the satellites that operate around that core. And so what's the first thing to be thinking about? Whatever one you like. We're not going to stuff any one of these down your throat, but pick one that you like.
We were talking to Marcus the other day, and Marcus Richardson, and he said what he did was he stepped it up on learning the products. But what he did is he took one and learned that one, like one a week, I think is what he said. And he learned that one product on non-income producing times.
Yep.
Okay. He learned a product, and then he would incorporate that talking to a client. So this might look like a lot of different things, but like Mike said, just pick one and focus on that a week, and then eventually you'll know enough to where you can be going back to your clients and talking to these clients about these secondary sales.
Yeah. And if you understand, like, just to talk about each one here, whether it's, I remember Megan Woods, her first one was the accidental death, and then she found the children's whole life. And then, shoot, I didn't even know that we had the product, but Mutual of Omaha has a critical illness product or cancer product called Critical Advantage. And so she started selling this product. I didn't even know what it was. Heck, it wasn't even showing up in our commission system at first. We had to make sure she was getting paid on it.
Maybe we should tell what these
and so, yeah, so you're trying to read my chicken scratch. So certainly it's the children's whole life. I think the ERS referral system is a tool to make sure as a reminder whether it's a product or thing. The IULs, Index Universal Life, the annuities and the green sheet world. I guess I could add up there, a single premium whole life is another product. On the health side, you've got the accidental death. You need a health license to be doing that. Then we've got, the whole Medicare, whether it's Medicare Advantage, Medicare Supplement, prescription drug plan. You do need to be AHIP certified to be talking about the Medicare Advantage. You don't need to be Medicare or AHIP certified for the Medicare supplements, but best because they're going to dovetail with each other. Get your AHIP done. And by the way, Ivy Wilson's been great at helping Meg and other people on our team. June 22nd is a day where you can take the test and be certified for both the remainder of the 2020 season and the upcoming 2021 AEP. So if you've got questions on that, learn about that. The hospital indemnity plans that Medico and GTL have, that's another amazing world of opportunity. Megan does a lot of those in her secondary sales. We mentioned the critical illness plan. We also talked about, and I lost my jaw, there we go, the dental or vision products that are out there. And of course, we've got the health matching account. We've got the debt elimination or debt relief products. And then, of course, along with the HMA, there's something coming up in July with the pet HMA is crazy. So, like, if you're thinking, I don't know what to talk about. Do they have kids? Do they have pets? Do they have health? Yes. Okay, well, they're going to need some of these other products. How can you ignore it? Take one at a time, learn it, use it, practice it. Maybe get one yourself, self-use, and then practice with someone else. Look for the opportunities, learn how to tell the stories. But we had other training on this, but this is another big thing as you're moving from 10,000 to 25,000 a month.
Mm-hmm. Huge.
All right. What's another big thing? Getting to 25,000. Think GMR. So you started a GMR, but now it's time to probably step it up because you're probably going to need a big boy GMR if you're trying to do bigger boy business. You might need to periodically go in and learn how to supplement. Hey, my GMR didn't get filled. Well, learn how to go order batch of bang social media leads.
Here's a big thing. If your GMR is not getting filled, yell, scream, talk to the lead performance team, talk to your agency manager and ask them, hey, what do I need to do? What happened? Did I need to change something? Do I need to go to another county? Do I need to? There's things that can be done, but if we don't know, if your manager doesn't know, if the lead performance team doesn't know, they can't help you with it. So please let us know if your GMRs are not being filled.
Yeah, that's gonna be big. Here's another big thing. Now that your business is starting to run, and as you're starting to think about hiring people, you need a staff person. You need a staff person. And you need an assistant to help you leverage your time. You are worth it. Your time is worth it.
Huge.
And you might be like, well, I've never hired somebody before. That's why you need to start now. I'm not sure if I need to. Well, if your goal is getting to the next level beyond this, if you're going to get to 30,000 or 50,000 personal issue pay, maybe you're like, I don't even want to hire an agent. Well, that's fine. If you just want to become, a Ruby producer at 50,000 or a platinum producer at 70,000, I promise you, doing it consistently, you will need an assistant. Okay. And whether it's an assistant to help run your household, like doing laundry, getting your car oil changed, your gas tank filled up, your car washed, doing dumb things that, grocery shopping, dumb things that not dumb, that everybody has to do. Everybody has to have these things done, but it doesn't pay if you're doing that.
Right. Your time is so valuable. Your time is what this business is about, is your time. So make sure that you're hiring somebody, and you don't have to spend a lot of money, and you don't have to, but you do want to make sure that you hire somebody that you can fire. Right?
Yeah. Your first hiring choice, they might suck.
They're probably gonna.
Well, you might find a good one. Our first one was good.
Yeah.
Our first one was good. But again, we had to have someone we felt comfortable having a tough conversation with, where we could expect and not feel like we had to walk on eggshells. Well, I hope we don't hurt her feelings if we tell her that she sucks at this part of her job, or that she needs to fix this. If you don't have someone that you can if you're afraid to have a fierce conversation with the person, don't hire them. If you're afraid to fire them, like your mom, I can't fire my mama or my grandma, don't hire her.
Yeah.
Not a good plan. And your spouse is not an employee. Maybe they want to help, and that's one thing, but you can't be like, hey, baby, can I get you to do my pending?
No.
I don't know. Noelle did not try to get Noelle to do pending for a bit, and that was a disaster.
That was years ago.
Yeah.
Years.
It was years. And it was only a few days, but it felt like years that it happened. It was like, God, she's slow at this. Like, she didn't want to do it.
My mind doesn't work that way.
Okay.
So make sure you get the right person for you. And you might have to talk to several people before you find that right person. Okay. Or you might have to hire 2 people and then decide within a week, hey, maybe just do a test run on a couple people, right? And then pick the one you like, you know?
Yeah. And
I know we did that with babysitters a lot.
In fact, that's another thing is you're trying to build your business. That might be another part of your staff. You might have someone that's a nanny babysitter run your household. You might have someone that's helping you run the administrative side of your business, like helping you process apps, check pending. Heck, I know someone's got a staff person that goes out and gets signatures on amendments so they can do more things following up with other clients. So you've got different ways that you can leverage a staff person's time to help you if you're being thoughtful and creative. That staff person could also be helpful in helping you interview or schedule interviews, or on the hiring side as you're looking to do that, which really kind of takes us into the next big thing is okay, remember, if we're trying to max out the super PAC, we need some agents. So what are we doing on the hiring process? What are we doing to reinvest in there? And if we've been hiring across the table, if we've talked to some people in our warm market as potential agents, we'll probably run out. Now, what are we doing to advertise and look for people that might be good? And really learning to start to invest and get serious about the time and money to invest to find a couple of good players for your team. More comments on that?
Huge. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to invest in that. Ads or the what is it? Zip whip? Is that what it is? Zip whipping your MC backup. Just investing in that, because remember, we're beginning with the end in mind, which is reaching that 130 contract, and you need a couple people that you can teach how to do some of these things that we're talking about. All of
Yes.
these things, by the way, are not just for you. They're for you to help coach somebody else along the way too, right?
Yeah. Here's a couple other big ones. So hiring process. Oh, relationships. Relationships with the lead performance team. Relationships with our carriers. Relationships with Andy Albright. Relationships with other people that are issuing $25,000 to $70,000 a month. You know, those are relationships that you need to invest time in, whether it's going there physically, talking on the phone, shooting a note or text, but start to develop those relationships.
Getting around Andy is huge when
Yes.
we can. Those opportunities are massive, but get to know them before you need them. You'll hear us say sometimes, know the people. If you meet them and learn about them and know them, then they're more likely to be there when you need something to help you along the way. And it might be sound kind of selfish to do that, but maybe you won't need them, but they're there if you do, especially with the carriers. You want to treat the carriers right. You want your staff to talk to the carriers and the lead performance team and the people at the alliance. You want them to treat them like they would want to be treated, because sometimes there's been people who maybe didn't.
Yeah. Hey, that's right. And there's times when we've got tough expectations, but you can have a conversation with a little bit more expectation if you've got more of a relationship when you don't need it. In fact, literally just 4 days ago, it was Friday night, I had an agent on our team had a situation, and I'll go ahead and mention it, with Foresters, where they needed I'll call it an actuarial exception. There's a rule, and there's kind of a crazy situation I don't think anybody anticipated. And we're like, well, this is kind of crazy because we'd have to take the business elsewhere. And we sent an email to both Bruce Barek and J.S. Ledoux, who's the chief product and actuarial guy at Foresters. And how do we know it? Because we've been hanging around together for a while. And I sent the email sometime in the afternoon on Friday, and I got an email back about 10 p.m. On a Friday night. So, not only was J.S. able to respond to me at something like 10 o'clock on a Friday night, but he responded favorably, said, yeah, happy to help out. This makes sense. We can do this. And so just having people that aren't afraid to bend the rules and work after hours to do it, to help you out because you've built a relationship. And I could say the same thing probably about other carriers. It's just one of the most recent stories I could share with you. So that's a big one. By the way, you're starting to make money. Have a plan to pay your taxes. Yeah. Pay your taxes. It's like pay $1 more than what you should. No more, but pay $1 more or right up to what you should. If you want to pay an extra $1 so you can't complain, and and be smart about it. Know what you should. Have an accountant or bookkeeper. You're building a business that's going to take you to $1 million a year income. Let's be smart about it.
Right.
All right. So as we're talking about starting to build beyond yourself and hiring, I want to take a second and at least acknowledge a couple of the leaderboards on some of our weekly recruiting leaders. So T, if you want to jump to that board real quick, looking like just some of the top people for this week. People had 3 more. Kelly Haney with 3 with recruits. Noel Wilson with 3. Noel. I'm sorry, Noel. Thank you. Noel Fitz with 3. That's right. Jeremy Patton with 3. Diana Lamp with 3. Angela Manzo with 4. John and Carolyn Davis with 4. Paul Roberts with 5. Jason Tony Kerr with 5. Alex Abian, the guy hired us, 5. Kyle and Gina Wilson, 7. Olga and Jason Mathis, 8. Andy Riddle, 9. So, hey, what do you know? The Riddle team taking the top 3 positions for the week. Way to go, clearing that out. Also, if we look at the month-to-date leaderboard, looking at anybody that had 5 or more, John and Carolyn Davis, Jane Bazan, Chris and Courtney Long, Jake and Belle Krause, Stephen Davies, Fitz with 5, Angela Manzo with 6, Noel Wilson was 6, Noel and I was 6, Colin Charcade was 6, Jeremy Patton 6, Joseph 2 with 8, Kyle and Gina Wilson 12, Alex Abian with 12, Paul Roberts 14, Andy Riddle 15, Olga and Jason 15, and Jason Tony Carey with 20. Hey, these folks are in the hunt. Watch them. They're doing part of what's required to max out that super PAC. I think that's pretty crazy. And of course, we've got, as we're talking about recruiting, the $52,000 giveaway and just kind of highlighting the year to date.
Tia has that one, the
and
$52,000
giveaway. If
for
Tia wants to pull that up.
recruiting.
Brandon and Ashley Beal with.
I might hear some banging.
I don't know if it's coming through our microphone or not. Evidently, our neighbor's chosen to have some construction done.
Sorry, we didn't plan for that.
All right, Brandon Ashley Beal at 39, Kyle and Gina Wilson at 43, Alex Amy at 47, William Dancy at 52, part of the ABTF, Paul Roberts at 58, Olga and Jason Mathis at 63, me and Noel at 75, Jason Tony at 93, Kyle Cater at 94, and Andy Riedel at 130. And by the way, I mean, you could pick up a check on this for $500 if you happen to be number 50, and number 50 has 10 with contracts, and there's some people like Brian Beasley that have 9 who are in 52nd place, and Eric and Bobby Belair. I mean, you're like one contract away. In fact, here's all the people with 9. You're one contract away from $500. So that's Brian Beasley, Eric and Bobby Belair, Don Yingling, Mark Marcellus, and those are the people with 9. All right. So that's some of the updates.
Don't let up. That goes through what?
Yeah, it goes through the end of this month.
The end of the month.
End of this month. All right. So got that done.
So from going from 25,000 silver production on the chart to 30,000 gold, and then teaching or having 3 people that does 20,000 in 3 different organizations or legs.
Yep.
Doesn't matter if they're direct to you, they can be in depth, whatever. That is what we're looking at here, which is what contract level?
115. That's 115 contract by doing that. And so we've got the board up there so you can see that part of the super PACs is pretty significant.
So we wanted to talk about the recruiting because you got to be talking to, and you're doing this along the way, remember, but finding those ones that can step up and
yeah,
issue pay 20,000. So
yeah, I think so. First of all, what's it take to be issuing 30,000 a month? Well, definitely you're in the 30 to 40 appointment a week range right now. You know, I'll just tell you, since you're focused, let's just say 40. You know, getting to that 40 point is going to guarantee you're issuing 30,000 a month. Because, you know, now I know none of you listeners have ever had this happen where you end up the month that, oh gosh, if they had just issued this one policy, I would have been over 30. But, you know, it's the carrier's fault. You know how there is with their timing and it's because my client wanted the draft date to be on the 3rd of the month because of Social Security. You know how it is. And isn't there some way I could get that to count from this month? Shoot. I mean, here's what I'm saying. That's what we're going to say to you. Now, Amy, let me tell you what I'm really thinking.
What the heck?
I'm thinking, you ding dong head, why didn't you book 2 or 3 more appointments for the month? Why didn't you take it out of the referee's hands, and why didn't you take control of the game and not leave it up to that blessed judgment? Come on, man. Come on. Pick up the slack. Don't be asking somebody to give you a mulligan or a gimme. You know, let's play through the rope. Let's do enough to win where it's not a question of someone else or the timing of one policy. That's crazy. All right. Next big thing. If you've got 1 staff, if you're going to move to this level, you're going to need 2 staff. You're thinking, but why would I need 2 staff if it's just 3 agents? Here's what you need to know. That's 3 agents that are doing 20,000 or more. You've got a few others that are on your team that might be doing 5 or 10 or 15,000 or 1,000. You need more help. You need help on the recruiting side. You need help on the pending side.
You're going to be so like crazy busy, you know, on the income producing activities, on the teaching your agents how to do it. You're going to need somebody to pick up and help on those little things that you don't really like to do anyway. I mean, I don't like to do them anyway. Maybe you do. I don't know. But you're going to be so, what we want you to focus on and what Andy wants you to focus on is what's going to get you there faster. Do you want to get there faster or slower? You got to decide that. Getting there faster means maybe slowing down a minute just to find a person that can help you. I think some people will resist that. They're like, I got to teach them. I got to train them.
And you're going to be less productive before you're more productive when you hire a staff person. It's going to slow you down a little bit. It's going to be painful, but you've got to go through that. And any type of progress curve is you start going up, And then you dip a little as you're implementing that change before you can get up to another plateau. And then you hit this next plateau and you make the next change. You dip a little bit before you move forward. That's the progress curve, and you have to embrace it. There's no shortcut to skip the pain or the discomfort. Just like when you get started, you haven't booked appointments before, there's the discomfort of learning to book appointments. You're going to have to learn the discomfort of hiring a staff person to get through to this 115 level with you issuing 30 and finding 3 other key players that'll do 20. Because if you're going to spend the time mentoring and coaching these people that'll do 20,000, you've got to have some staff person to take care of all the dumb little stuff that has to be done to keep your business afloat. You need somebody else to check your mail. You need somebody else to deal with making sure your invoice and your lead billing is correct, or whatever, just whatever little stuff is out there. You got someone else to do that, so you can focus on the high dollar things of being a 30,000 a month producer and coaching and developing a 20,000 a month producer. You want to talk about how many interviews do I need to do to find some good ones? You want to just talk about what that looks like?
I don't know how many interviews you need to do to find some good ones, but what I do know is you need to do a hell of a lot of interviews to find a couple good ones that you can do. I mean, Mike and I have done a ton of interviews in the course of our business, and I know Andy has too, and we have how many issue paid legs? I don't know.
We probably got about 25 issue paid
25 legs. Issue paid legs a month, and out of that full time that are hitting these numbers, we have how many, like
12. Oh, it depends.
Hitting the 20,000.
Oh, 20,000. We have about 5-6 legs of you. 20,000.
About 5 or 6. But we're not there yet. Okay, we are growing, and we want to do more, but it's not too bad. You know what I'm saying? But my point is you have to do a lot of interviews to find the 1 or 2 that you can work with, or the 3 or 4 that you can work with right now, that are ready to go now, right? Because what you're going to have is a lot of incubators or marinators, Fitz used to call them, people who they believe they just aren't doing yet, right? And we're looking for people that believe and do. Yeah. And kind of do right now, like the ones that are going to want to, when you say, hey, you need to, get that contracting done today, then they're the ones that do it and say, what do I need to do next? So ones that say, hey, I did 300 dials, what do I need to do next? That kind of thing, and we want to, a lot of times we tend to slow down recruiting or stop recruiting when we think we found a good one.
Yeah. You can't.
Please don't do that.
Yeah, because you can be fooled. You can be fooled. You can be hoping that this is a good one. Maybe I deserve a break. I said, look, you're going to have to run through the rope and keep interviewing while you're working with a good one.
By the way, I mean, a lot of agents are doing this. Mike and I are doing this. We've hired 75 or whatever it was on the list so far. We're looking for ones that we can work with now. And out of that, if it's somebody that can do, we just don't have the time. We've been giving a couple people to other agents to work with, and I think a couple other agency managers are doing that too, and Andy does that too, right?
Yeah.
To help mentor, so that can be part of your group.
Yeah, if you're hiring, you may not be able to mentor each person yourself, but you've got someone that wants to, has got more time. Well, you work the ones that are high level that are matching your speed, and give the ones that are lower level, a slower speed, to someone else to work with. And in fact, speaking of the ones that you are pouring into, I think that's the next big one, is as you identify the ones that are able to do 20,000 a month, like you think they're smart enough and they've got the talent to.
Ready, willing, and able.
They want to, meaning that, yes, they're saying they want to, they have a reason to, and then they're doing and they're taking action and not fighting you on the action. When somebody has the aptitude, is wanting to, and then is doing those 3 things, that's when you double down.
Yeah.
That's when you triple down. That's when you say, hey, man.
Yeah, Andy's in Vegas, right?
That's right. He's in Vegas as we speak. And he's talking about, hey, man, I see I got me, 2 aces. Let me double down. Let me split them and double down. Or if you're playing blackjack or whatever it is, but let's go and let's try to make the most of this one bet. When you've got the good hand, let's bet more on them. That means pour more leads, pour more of your time, pour more emotional energy building a friendship with that one person. That might mean maybe you're talking to them 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times a day. The person's part-time that maybe you want to do something a little here and there, maybe you talk to him once a week. But the one that wants to go now and is showing that they're smart enough to do it and they're doing it, pour more on them.
They
Help
make
them get
mistakes.
encourage them.
Yeah, they're calling you. All those little things. Those are big, big things when you're trying to find the one that is ready that you can work with now, ready, willing, and able, that you can invest more in. And all those things Mike mentioned: the time, the money, and the emotion that goes into it.
All right.
Building that friendship too. You got to invest in that.
Around this time, it's probably, if you haven't thought of it already, you probably need office space. Why? For you, your 2 staff, a couple of the local agents that you've got is a watering hole to get to. And you make it big enough so with COVID, y'all got enough space to spread out. With more people getting out of offices, you probably find good office rate deals right now. But having some office space to call your business home, to plant the flag, is going to be big.
That's great. I mean, I know that Paul Roberts' office out in Louisville, they do a lot of phone training, and I saw something they posted on BAM the other day that they all got together and were doing training and stuff like that. I know Bailick's doing it down in Florida, the Lakeland office. I mean, we got people coming into our office, so that's going to be like a watering hole for your team to come together and to grow. So yeah, you want to have an outside space. Mike, believe me, we did it for a long time where we had the space in our home, and I know that's the thing to do these days with the COVID. But having an office where you can go and kind of get away and separate, it does help you stay focused, mentally, physically, focused on what you need to do, not for your own personal production, for hiring, and then also to have your staff around so you can be coaching them so they're learning faster when they're around you.
Yeah.
Too, and your agents.
Or yeah, you might have an agent that's a little ADHD, and they need a place to come to because they know with their ADHD, if they stay at home, there's no way they could book up their full calendar. But or office where it's a controlled, positive, and focused environment with no dishes to wash and no laundry to do and no Oprah to watch, they're going to be able to sit there and actually book 20 appointments in the next 2 days. So that investment, it can be powerful for you on so many levels when you're looking at that.
The next one is investing in you. Invest in you. You're going to have to pour more into you, into what you're thinking, what you're doing, getting around the agents that are doing it, getting around the Marcus Richardsons, the Megan Woods, who I'm trying to think, the Paul Minichinos, right? Getting around Andy Albright when you can. Just investing more in that association, but also in the reading and the other things, that you need to do to invest in yourself. You're going to need to, at this point, you're going to need those people around you, and you're going to need to be around them, keeping your mind right.
And I think especially with the COVID stuff that's happening and the fact that we can't have a family reunion event, you taking the time when you have an invitation to be around other leaders, they're not going to be as available. You're going to have to seize those. You're going to have to make those a priority. It probably won't be convenient because travel's more restricted now. You might have to be like, oh, is there a risk of me? Look, yeah, there can be a little risk in everything you do, but you're going to have to really treasure those moments to be around and be connected and face-to-face. And yes, we're going to have a lot of Zoom sessions, but man, when you get a chance to be around some winners for a day or half a day or whatever it is, take advantage of it. Definitely take advantage of it.
All right. Moving on here.
Next, big leaderboard. Since we've been talking about people stepping up their production to that 30,000 a month level.
We're going to have a Fanatics leaderboard, Tia,
right.
if you can.
Yeah, we're going to go look at this Double Dare Fanatic bonus. And here's what's crazy. Through the 15th of June, right? So we're just talking through the 15th of June. And for those that don't know the Double Dare, so people that issue 30,000 of life premium or $500,000 in annuity premium, they each going to get a $1,000 bonus check. But if they happen to do both, they get a $2,000 bonus check. So just kind of looking through what's been issued so far and people that are kind of in the hunt here. I'm just going to try to figure out where I want to start. I'm just going to start it. Let's look at 10,000. I'm going to start at 10,000. So
go fast.
All right. So Brant, Brent Swindell at 10,000. Dan Gillingham, Lee Reyes, Jeremy Patton, Debbie Ben, Mia Fennell, Angela Manzo, Eric and Bobby Belair, Stephanie Rodriguez. Stephanie Rodriguez has got $135,000 annuity. Jeff Turner at 11, Miles Gatus at 11, Victor Zaldivera at 11, Evan Patzer at 11.9, 12,000 up. Jessica Phillips, Jake and Bella Krause, Billy Crane, Marilyn Martin Ward, and then 13,000. We've got Mark Hutchison, Katrina Gus with 9,000 and a 75,000 annuity. Jeremico Edwards 16,000, Kyle Cater 16,000, George and Wendy Lagajanis 17,000, Marvin Otsoy 19,003, Robert Wilson 19,700, Tim Sipe 8,500 and $191,000 annuity. Junior Korea 21,300. Kyle and Janina Wilson 22,800, Paul and Sam Minikino 24,600 and a 10,000 annuity. Megan Wood 27,000 issued life premium so far, and then Jason Tony Carey with 17,000 life and a $200,000 annuity issued all year to date. Guys, that's awesome. And again, that's through the 15th of June. That's at the halfway mark. So what's crazy is we're going to see some people. We're going to have a number of 50,000 a month producers, and some more may sneak in here. And we still got some folks that have a shot at doing $500,000 annuities. It's going to be exciting who pops that and pops those bonuses.
It's going to be massive. All right.
All right. So that's it for our leaderboards. We're coming back down the home stretch.
Down the home stretch, guys. Going from 30,000 issue. What were we at? 30,000 issue paid to 50,000 issue paid, with 6 people doing 20,000 somewhere in 6 different organizations.
That's right. And the first thing is, as a reminder, the minimum income you would pull in by doing this is $90,000 a month, and first-year commissions, not counting renewals.
Sorry about the banging. I know. I'm sure you guys can pick that up.
So hopefully, wasn't happening when we started. Okay, so what changes is you're now making it going from 30,000 a month to 50,000 a month, and going from having 3 20,000 a month producers to 6 20,000 a month producers. What's different? What do you need next?
Well, your income's going to be a hell of a lot different. I know that.
That's going to be different. That's right. But to get there, what do you got to change to make sure you're getting there?
You probably need 3 or 4 staff at this point to help with some of the recruiting, some of the other admin stuff. You might have somebody like Mike and I has a staff person that would come to our house and do stuff like that was on our payroll. So you're going to have probably another 1 or 2 staff people to add into that. But what else? 40 appointments a week. You're definitely going to be working your way on 40 appointments a week.
Yeah.
With all the different lead sources and the current clients that you have and the secondary sales and stuff like that, referrals and so forth.
You might even have a staff person that's helping you with your appointment setting, with some of it at this point, right? Because with your current clients, just staying organized. In fact, we were talking to Jason and Tony Carey. They've got a staff person helping line up current clients for him to talk to. Now, somebody might say, well, Mike, I'm a new agent, and I heard Jason Carey's got a staff person booking appointments. Yeah, Jason Carey and Tony Carey, they're making like $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a month. They're on $1 million run rate. They can afford a staff person. When you're first getting started, you need to learn how to book appointments. Remember, we didn't say that as step 1 in the first part of going from 0 to 10 or 10 to 25. This is for somebody that's going from 30 to 50,000 and leading an organization. You might need someone that can help you book appointments at that point. Okay, so I want to be clear on where that's coming in. You might leverage that, and you can be smart about that. On the staff, it may be time to change the quality of staff that you have. You might need somebody that if you're used to paying somebody, and I got to be careful because it's all based on your market. Let's just say you got somebody that's a $30,000 or $40,000 your staff person. Maybe you need somebody that's licensed, that's a go-getter, that can also be an example, that is worth more, and that you're needing to pay more because of their experience and their desire to work and be available at a high level. And if that's the case, well, great. Be ready to step up and make that commitment. Make sure they're good enough to be qualified, but have high expectations. What's a good example? Look at some of the people that work for Andy. Look at people like Robbie Kraft. Look at people like Clay Murtis. Look at some of the other folks on the team that are there doing big things, leading folks with Sarah. Look at the way they communicate. Look at what they do in the personal production outside of the office. So they're learning the business firsthand, and figure out, maybe I need someone like that.
I will say this too, just real quickly. I know we've been talking about staff, but they will also, the Alliance will also help you figure out and place ads on, I think, on some of the staffing things that you might need that the
President's Club can help you. Yep.
So, anyway. Interviews, you might have a staff person that's helping doing the recruiting, doing a lot of the placing the ads and the initial dials or recruiting or putting people into your calendar to talk to so that you can, do the follow-ups or so forth for those clients so you can find those $20,000 producers that we're looking for, the doers.
Yeah. Being able to, again, double down on the investment in the good agents. It's all the more important. And being able to filter who you spend time with becomes more critical. As your business gets bigger, being smarter about where you put your time. You might say, but I really like this guy. Yeah, I know you like him. He's doing 3 appointments every other week. Maybe there's someone else on your team that can coach him. But I really think he's going to be big. I said, I know he has 2 other jobs, and he's really not putting that much time in, maybe later, but let somebody else coach him for now. But then when you've got someone good, can you pour more into them and help them micromanage? Listen again, not micromanage them, help them micromanage themselves. Teach them to think about all the phases of their business and get up the learning curve quickly. If they're wanting to communicate with you and you've got this reciprocal relationship where you're both talking 4 or 5, 6 times a day. Megan Wood is a top producer because she's still reaching out for help multiple times a day. And she probably leads it least, but she knows where she's trying to get to. And so you're looking for someone that will do that. And then where you can be on the other side of that conversation, being there, supporting them, helping them and pouring in them because you know it's worth it, because they're going to be one of those 20 to 30 to 50,000 a month producers. You got to be able to pour back into them and have staff that are trained to help them out and train them to get their own staff.
Exactly.
So that's part of that. And it's this, what I'll call a top producer. We could talk for hours on this, and Andy Albright's done stuff. It's about being a friend and having fun and celebrating, but it's in learning when do we have to coach tough? When do we have to interrogate reality? When do we have to tell the truth? And understanding when to do that and how to have a fierce conversation and still lead and stretch, but still have fun and still have a likable relationship. And that takes work. It takes me or Noelle getting coaching from Andy on, hey, how do I have a conversation about this with this person? Being more strategic with your conversations is critical. What else is big? On this last bit here.
I think this is big.
Yes.
40 appointments. So you doing 40 appointments, teaching your agents along the way, leading by example is key. Whether it's telesales or in person or a combination, it's likely probably going to be some combination right now of that. 40 appointments a week. And then finding one to copy you.
Yeah.
Finding one of your 6 people to help to copy that, and then teaching them to do it to find one person. Teaching them to find one person, right? And then finding one more after that.
So you do 40 appointments a week. Number 1. You do it. As you're recruiting people, you find one more that'll do 40 appointments a week. As that's happening, you go get one more and teach your friend Joe to get one more. Then we have you, 1, 2, 3 that are doing 40 appointments a week. You've now got 2 of these legs, and you've got a backup on the first leg in case he has an off month. Now you got one more, and then continue to do that, and you'll get yourself 6 in wit. You'll get yourself 6 in wit that are doing 20,000 plus a month, plus you doing that 50,000 plus a month, maxing out the super pack, bringing in over 90,000 a month, probably more like 100, 110, 120, 130,000 a month because of that simple formula, but paying attention to the details of the do that we've been spending time with you here. So guys, I hope you're excited about seeing that it's possible. I hope you do believe, but I hope you back up your belief with the do.
Right.
Let's get started wherever you're at. Find out where you're at, the closest spot to what we talked about today. Go back, figure out what do I have to change. Go to the person that's coaching you for real and ask them, what do I need to do next as I'm trying to max out this super pack? What's the most important thing I need to change? What's the biggest change you think that's holding me back that I haven't made that I'm whining and complaining about?
Be a good asker of questions. Asker, ASK,
Yeah.
of questions through every step in this, and you'll get there faster. And then take those answers that you get and apply them and be the doer that you are. We are an essential business. We have the right team, we have the right system, we have the super pack. There is no excuse really, in terms of beginning with the end in mind and getting the results that you're looking for.
That's right.
And it all comes back to that.
That's right.
So,
all right. Well, thank you, Andy Albright, for creating the super pack. Thank you for creating the infrastructure. Tia, thank you for coordinating this and making this happen and getting these leaderboards out. And thank you to the lead performance team and everything that everybody does to help make this business rock and roll.
Thank you.
Rock on, guys. We'll see
Bye.
you. Bye.